Okay, I'm going to call to order the City of Menasha Public Works.
We had our team pictures today, so I had to.
You don't take the fan plow?
Okay, I'm calling to order the City of Menasha Board of Public Works. Clerk Alizazi, can you please take roll call?
Alderman Nichols. Here. Alderman Taylor. Alderman Sevenik.
Here.
Alderman Langdon.
Here.
Alderman Kruger.
Here.
Alderman Tom Grady.
Here.
Alderman Ted Grady.
Here.
Alderman Rapella.
Here.
Hey, first up on the agenda is any public comments on any matter listed on the agenda. Are there anybody in the public that would like to comment?
All right. It's a record.
I need to, okay. Sandra DeBill Taylor, 545 Broad Street. This is why I really came tonight. Board of Public Works. Item 6, no, I'm sorry, item 5. An ordinance amending Title 10, Chapter 1 of the Code of Ordinances, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, introduced by Alderman Kruger. Nowhere does it say Broad Street. To me, that's almost like a violation of open meetings. Everywhere else, you have Chain Drive east of Fairview Court. Item 4, Grove Street sidewalks. Item 6, certified survey map, Main Street. Item 7, Providence Terrace. But the one item I want to talk about doesn't say anything about Broad Street. So you wonder why nobody shows up at these meetings. I mean, that's a red flag right there. Then, I guess I'm just so frustrated with this whole conversation. It's been going on a long time. I'm sure you're frustrated with Broad Street and the Racine Street Bridge and one-way traffic, two-way traffic. And so I'm here again. In the minutes from the last meeting, it said, just to clarify, that at one time I supported switching Broad Street to two-way, but now more of her neighbors want to keep it one-way. I've always wanted a two-way, to clarify. A lot of my neighbors have always wanted to keep it one-way, to clarify. I'm so frustrated at this point, I don't really care, because of the fact that you want to put a median at the corner of Broad and Racine. If it was up to me, dead end it, make it a cul-de-sac. That's the if we're worried about safety, that's the safest route to go. You don't have any cars crossing Racine, getting in and out of there. At one time, now, of course, we had to let Jimmy John's have access. And I'm sure some of you might remember at one time the post office had access to Racine, but it was too dangerous, so they closed that access. Honest to God, any road in the city of Menasha that you can take a left-hand turn on is probably just as dangerous, especially any road off of Racine Street that doesn't have a signal. My husband took a ride down to the other end of Broad and Taco Street and counted more traffic down there than there is at Racine Street, and you can take a left onto Taco. It's just a crock. Then we have the and then part of my frustration comes to the fact that our neighborhood is not being heard. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's that not all of you get along with my alderman. But, you know, you pull up stuff like this was from the consultant for the DOT when they were looking at their alternates. And these are some of the things they refined. Moving the south end of the bridge as far to the west as practical to minimize the proximity to the residents on Riverway. They didn't do that for the Broad Street residents. At the intersection with Kai's, reducing the length of the splitter island to allow left turns from northbound Main or Namath Street. Here they reduce the size of the island so people on Namath can go left onto Annup or onto the bridge, but heaven forbid that would never happen on the north side of the bridge. I wonder why. The mayor lives on the south side of the bridge. Then, we now have the recommendation to make this two-way, but we're not going to do anything on the intersection of Broad and Racine on the western corner, even though that's getting done before the other half, and that corner has vision control problems because of the buildings, both the post office to the north and the commercial building to the south. But they're going to allow full access there. And they're going to decide that later. But now tonight, you want to make sure that anybody on Broad Street can take a left. Okay? And even though the recommendation is that we have to have a median because the city believes that the 50 years that people have been driving that way, people can't adjust. Well then, tell that to the DOT with the diverging diamonds. Tell that to the DOT with all the roundabouts that they're proposing. 50 years, we can't adjust. What about the 441 bridge? That wasn't here 50 years ago.
Ms. Taylor, we're at 6.5 minutes now, so I'll give you another minute if you can speed it up, please.
A minute. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much. You're so generous. Okay, then let's jump to the chase. The proposal is to redo this and put angle parking back in front of the old grog in the opposite direction. According to the traffic study that was actually done back in 2010 by Mark Radke, according to the AASHTO, American Association of State and Highway Transportation Officials, and I know our current Board of Director of Public Works relies on them a lot, you would need to remove all of the existing angle parking and possibly the first 50 feet of parallel parking allowed on the north side of Broad Street, west of the intersection of Broad and Appleton. The mountable curb and gutter section would need to be removed and replaced with full head curb and gutter, as well as posting no parking signs within the entire area. Why isn't that part of the proposal? That should be made a terrace, just like it is in front of the old Hank's Bar, if it's going to be done right. So why does this study say one thing, and that's quoted from the DOT, and yet his study says, oh, we'll just do it the opposite direction? This is a crock. This is a crock. Thank you.
I'm just going to reiterate that the public comments on any matter listed on the agenda was added as a courtesy to the public who were asking for it, and it was put a 5-minute time limit on it. And I would appreciate that we stick to the 5 minutes. I don't want to be running over with 10 minutes worth of talking or 15 minutes worth of talking, because I did this out of courtesy to residents. Moving on to the minutes to approve, we have the January 7th, 2019 minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chair. I will make the motion to approve the January 7th, 2019 Board of Public Works minutes.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A second from Alderman Ted Grady. Is there any discussion? See none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Moving on to discussion items, and E, first up is the change order for MMC Incorporated for the new street construction and street reconstruction. Director Radomski, can you please elaborate on it?
So this is a change order for increased quantities that we realized during the contract. A couple of the bigger items were the asphalt. We always estimate for 4 inches thick. They had a little bit of extra asphalt in there, so that accounted for $15,000. What that usually means is that we got a little bit thicker than 4 inches in some locations. So it's not a huge deal. It actually benefits the city. So that's the vast majority of that change order.
Is there a motion? Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chair. I'll make the motion to forward to council the change order for MCC Inc., contract unit number 2018-02. That'd be for the new street construction and street reconstruction, and that's for the various streets. We are going to add $15,654.04. And Josh, that will be the number one change order and only change order. Thank you.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Alderman Tom Grady. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, can we take roll call?
Motion carried on roll call, 8-0.
Moving on to action item number 2 is the payment MMC Incorporated for new street construction and street reconstruction in various streets. I'm doing well tonight. Director Adamski.
So this is the final payment for the contract 2018-02. They've completed work. Everything was done satisfactorily. So this is just to finish off that payment.
Okay, can I have a motion? Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chair. I will make the motion to forward to council payment for MCC Inc., contract unit number 2018-2 for the new street construction and street reconstruction for various streets in the amount of $21,123.64, and that is payment number 6 and final, Josh? Thank you.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Alderman Ted Grady. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, can we take roll call?
Motion carried on roll call, 8-0.
Moving on to action item number 3 is intergovernmental agreement for stormwater management. Director Radomski.
So this agreement is for the Valley Road reconstruction that we had already agreed to a couple of months ago as far as a joint agreement with Appleton, Fox Crossing, and us to do the engineering on that. We did realize that there was some stormwater management that was required for that due to the urbanization, and this intergovernmental agreement allows us to pursue the engineering for that stormwater management.
All right, thank you. Can I have a motion? Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chair. I'll make the motion to forward to council the intergovernmental agreement for stormwater management related to the urbanization of Valley Road between the City of Appleton, City of Menasha, and the Village of Fox Crossing for Valley Road. And that's on the west of the Chain Drive to east of Forest View Court.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Alderman Tom Grady. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, can we take roll call?
Motion carried on roll call, 8-0.
Moving on to action item number 4 is the Grove Street sidewalks. Director Adamski.
So this is an item for adding sidewalks on Grove Street between Airport Road and Alva Street. So that portion of roadway does not currently have sidewalks. Alva, Ida, and Airport Road all do. So this is similar to Willow Lane where we're completing the network of sidewalks in that area. We already added Ida Street sidewalks last year, so we feel that this is a good place to add sidewalks. So that's pretty much it.
Assuming this is my district, I'll make the motion to approve the Grove Street sidewalks. Do I have a second? Second by Alderman Mark Langdon. Is there any discussion? I will make the comment, I have not heard anything from anybody within that area or in my district opposed to this. So with a motion and a second and no other discussion, can we take roll call?
Motion carried on roll call 8-0.
Moving on to the next item is the ordinance for amending Title 10, Chapter 1 of the Code of Ordinances, introduced by myself. Director Radomski, could you please address this? And also if you could address Mrs. Taylor's concern on why Broad Street was not specifically mentioned in this ordinance change.
When we generally do titles for the agenda, we copy what is the ordinance name. Due to the fact that the ordinance name is from the streets, the ordinance name was an ordinance amending Title 10, Chapter 1 of the Code of Ordinances, which is our general name for a ordinance, therefore we did not put the Broad Street on there. Perhaps we should have, kind of in parentheses, put Broad Street, did not think of it at the time, but we followed our general procedures for how we title ordinances.
I would like to ask that that's included on the, in the wording on the agenda when it comes to council, please.
Okay.
Okay, I will make the motion to approve O-1-19, an ordinance amending Title 10, Chapter 1 of the Code of Ordinances, Motor Vehicles and Traffic. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Mark Langdon. Is there any discussion? Alderman Taylor.
I asked for discussion before the motion.
Yeah, that's, so you can have discussion now.
But that was okay on Willow Lane from you, wasn't it? That was all right.
Alderman
for
Taylor,
Willow
if you have
Lane.
something to discuss,
Yeah,
talk.
it's okay for
You
last
have
week.
to have the floor, I'll turn off the mic.
Okay, that's fine, but you don't want to listen to
Do
reality.
you want the mic turned off or do you want to talk?
Okay, and then, last week, with, people spoke for more than 5 minutes from Willow Lane, there was nothing said. And,
That was not on Public Works, Alderman Taylor.
yes, it was.
Alderman
And
Taylor,
also,
Alderman Taylor, enough of that. We are
just state-
we are discussing the ordinance, not the minutes or
and there,
the public comments. If you'd like to
There
discuss
is-
that with me, you could discuss that with me
there
over the
is
council.
four combined items here tonight, and these items should all be separated because it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's a parking issue, it's a traffic issue, it's a stop sign issue, and I would like to separate these four out. And I also had a meeting with Josh last week in regards to this, and he told me that he didn't have time for this. This wasn't coming until February, and the meeting was on Wednesday, and on Thursday, here it's in the packet, I got a call from Josh on Friday stating that I should talk to, and I appreciate that call, I should talk to my constituents about the stop sign changes and see what their thoughts were on it. Well, certainly, getting a notice on Friday that this was going to be in the packet, and I picked my packet up Friday night. So here one time, 2 days before, I'm told that we don't have time for this till February. Now it appears on the agenda, and I have no time to go out and talk to my constituents under that type of time frame. So and there's 4 changes in this ordinance, and serious changes, and I think the public who owns this body should be able to have some notice on this, the changes coming, so they can come up here and voice their opinions or give me a call. So I think it's, I was misled with this being on the agenda, and I would like these items separated tonight.
I'm unsure, I mean, you can discuss each item individually because we were discussing the whole entire ordinance, Alderman Taylor.
Well, there's different sections in that ordinance. I would like to have the attorney make a recommendation on this, since you have section 15, 17, a whole different section, and section 25. Can we separate these, attorney?
You can make amendments anytime you want.
Just asking.
Attorney Captain, would you like to comment or respond?
Could you make that public? It's a public forum, attorney. I would like you to make that public statement so we can all hear what you just
Well, her
said.
recommendation was if I decide that I would like to make each one independent, I can so do during the meeting, which I will allow. We can address each individual item separately, even though it's, we're discussing the whole entire ordinance. So go ahead, Alderman Taylor.
Okay. I would like to make a motion on section 10-1-15, controlled intersections designated, and take item D separately, three-way stops authorized, and to eliminate the stop at Broad and Pierce Street to a four-way stop.
Could you repeat your request again?
Is it section D? Are you
You said
talking
it again,
about?
James?
The first one, section 10-15
Yep.
-1-15,
Yep.
item D.
D.
D and then 2.
D, probably
Right now, the ordinance that's written is struck out. What are you asking?
Right.
The way it reads is the Broad Street and Pierce Street, north, east, west, south is crossed out. The new number 2 is Elmwood and Eugene Streets. Which one are you trying to address?
I see it's crossed out, but don't we need a motion to make that into a four-way?
Alderman Kruger, if I may address that.
Go ahead.
So our ordinance has separate sections for three-way and four-way stops. Under the three-way, the D, I have Broad Street and De Pierce Street crossed off to eliminate it from the three-way stop. And then under four-way stops authorized, I have added Broad Street and De Pierce Street as number 21. So it would be a four-way stop.
Okay. Thank you. And I'll just make a motion to have as amended then.
It's already in the ordinance.
It's in there.
Oh.
It's there already. Yes.
These papers.
It's amended from a three-way.
It's already in there. That's what we're discussing for the ordinance change.
I don't know how many you want to talk at that time.
So what he's asking for is he made a motion to, just the D. So he's separating out and not making a motion for the Broad Street every C. So it's just the D.
Yeah, Alderman Taylor, a quick question. Are you or is your amendment just to deal with D and E and not do any changes to C? I mean, is that,
Could you repeat that again?
what do you want to do is just have D and E as the change and the change in C to add Broad Street and Racine Street not included in the ordinance change?
No, I'm happy with the way it's written. I thought I had to take it separately on E, that after disposing of number 2.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
And that's the whole
Okay, so that's basically the whole ordinance change then.
section 10-1-15.
Okay. All right, is there any other discussion? Clerk, did we have a second on the motion?
Yes, we do. It was a motion by Alderman Kruger, seconded by Alderman Langdon to forward to council O-1-19.
All right, without any further discussion, if we could take a roll call.
Motion carried on roll call, 8-0.
Moving on to action item 6, the certified survey map at 140 Main Street, dedication to street right-of-way. Director Adamski.
So this is a CSM that was done to clear up the City Hall property. As you may remember, it was about a year ago, we started this process to try and separate the mural wall into the street right-of-way. The mural wall currently sits on a property line, so it was impossible to separate that from the building. So in order to give us control of the mural wall without also having control of the City Hall, we wanted to separate it into the right-of-way. After some discussion and some issues with land ownership that our surveyor found, we were able to clear all those up, and the way we want to proceed is to have pretty much the area known as Curtis Street Square, Chute Street, and the mural wall as declared as right-of-way, which is how it's been treated in the past, just to clear everything up and make it legal instead of how it currently is.
Thank you. Could I get a motion? Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chair. I will make the motion to forward to council the certified survey map for 140 Main Street, and that's the dedication to the street right-of-way.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Second. We have a second by Alderman Nichols. Is there any discussion?
Can we take a time out here?
Oh, we can hold off for a minute.
Seconds here, 'cause- All right.
Good. Is there any discussion? See none, can we take roll call?
Motion carried on roll call, 8-0.
Moving on to the last item is Resolution R-1-19, the preliminary resolution declaring intent to exercise special assessments in the province terrace. There we go again, Director Radomski.
This is a required preliminary resolution for assessing special assessments to the properties along Province Terrace and Midway Crossing. You'll see the final resolution coming through next week, and then a public hearing or you'll see it next council meeting, and then a public hearing in 2 council meetings is how that will work. So this is the preliminary one. We need to get the preliminary one approved before we can go ahead with the final.
Thank you. Could I have a motion? Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chair. A motion forward to council, resolution R-1-19 for the preliminary resolution declaring intent to exercise special assessment powers under section 66.073 for the Wisconsin statutes, and that's for Province Terrace.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Tom Grady. Is there any discussion? See none, can we take roll call?
Motion carried on roll call, 8-0.
Last item is adjournment, and I'm going to just add in that at the next meeting, no one's going to have an honorary doctor title to it, I promise. Come on. I'm sorry, I know, I should have went online. But can we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion, a second by Alderman Tom Grady. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned.